This episode can change your life. I know it did for me 5 years ago. My guest today is the first person with Down syndrome in the world to complete an Ironman, run all 6 global marathon majors, win 2 ESPYs, and become a global ambassador for Special Olympics. He is an Adidas-sponsored athlete, an author, and a public speaker. He's also the reason why I signed up for an Ironman in 2021 with zero experience and no plan. If you're a private equity firm and you are looking for speakers at your annual meeting to make it interesting and fun, you got to have this guy. If you're an investment bank, it doesn't matter who you are, what your firm is, this guy lights it up. So after 5 years since our first episode, it is my pleasure to have Chris Nikic and his father back on the podcast. Guys, it is so cool to have you here. And let's just start off with Chris. What is your next race?
My next race is Boston. It'll be April 20th. I'm still training for it, and I've been always born ready.
Always born ready.
Not born ready.
Yeah.
You get out of here.
Yeah, Cranky Kong.
And don't call me Cranky Kong.
Yeah, Cranky Kong.
Edit that out.
Get out of here. Keep it.
Well, what does the rest of the year look like? What other races are you doing? So you have Boston coming up?
Yeah. I'm doing the 300 tri-run triathlon. I also cruise the pull-ups, push-ups,
And then?
Are you doing Jacksonville?
marathons, 7 continents, and 7 days.
Wait, say that again. You're doing what?
Marathons,
7 marathons
continents.
on 7 continents in 7 days.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me more. This is crazy. I like this kind of crazy. The last time you gave me a crazy idea 5 years ago, I went somewhere with it. What is this? 7 marathons, 7 continents in 7 days. When is this?
November.
50
crazy people charter a big airplane, and it takes them starting with Antarctica on day 1, and then it takes them to the other 6 continents around the world. And each day they land, they run a marathon, get back on a plane, go to the next continent, and they finish in Miami.
You're pure crazy. I love it.
I know.
What are you doing Jacksonville, the Ironman Jacksonville in May?
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll see you there. All right.
I beat their ass.
What? Don't talk like that. You can't beat his ass.
Well, I am.
Oh, the trash talk begins. Let's go.
I know.
So let's rewind. Like, how, it's interesting we say you're born ready. Like, you had to do a whole bunch of work to physically get there and also mentally get there. So let's rewind, and maybe Nick, if you wouldn't mind, just like, what's the backstory growing up? And then, Chris, I'd love to hear about when you guys decided to do an Ironman Florida in 2020, talk about that. But Nick, would you mind just kind of giving a little background?
Sure. So, his whole life, Chris really was protected, because from the day 1 he was born, the doctors told us everything he couldn't do, and all the fears that come from low muscle tone, loose neck, slow reaction, all those things just really put the fear in people, especially the parents, especially the moms, who are really very protected to begin with. And so Chris and many of his peers really live a life of limited activity and a lot of isolation. And so Chris was an overweight, out of shape young man, went through school kind of barely with his friends, but that's where he was. He wasn't able to do much when this journey started. Chris was 18, and he was in a place where, I'll let him tell you, kind of talk about where you were when we started, buddy.
Yeah, so basically, it started when I was 18. I was basically out of shape, overweight, and my friends were going to college. Uh, I had nowhere to go, nothing to do. So I decided to get in shape by doing Special Olympics triathlon. Uh, that completely turned into an Ironman, and it changed everything.
And that was really the journey, right? He started out of shape and overweight, and 2.5 years later, he was an Ironman. It was just a journey of enormous transformation, both physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And you can imagine how difficult that it was, because up to that point, out of 7 million Special Olympics athletes in the world, everyone with autism and Down syndrome, Chris was the first one to do an Ironman and even to attempt it. And so we were on a journey that was scary to begin with, but also one that um, there wasn't a blueprint. And so we had a lot to learn. So that's where we started. And in 2.5 years, Chris did an Ironman. And again, as he said, that changed everything.
And it's been incredible to see um the change, on Instagram and watching like your body shape. It's like to the point where like my wife says, "Hey, you need to get in shape, Jordan. Look at this." Like it's now inspiration for us. We're like, I need to get stronger. I need to get more cut. Like, dude, you're getting ripped. It's awesome.
And that's part of why, we're doing the 321-mile triathlon, which is your traditional Ultraman, but we're adding a strength element to it, where, in addition to the three elements, Chris is going to do 321 pull-ups, dips, crunches, and push-ups in order to add the fourth element of strength. Because a lot of people who train for Ironman and Ultraman really don't do much in terms of strength. They talk about it, but they don't do enough. And we think that's an element that really adds to the health and the well-being of an individual, the strength component. So yes, Chris is going to challenge
I,
us of doing 321 pull-ups.
yeah, I'm gonna have to show this to my triathlon coach and my wife. Be like, yeah, we've been telling you this for how many years, and you still don't do any workouts. Like I did a hit session a couple weeks ago, and I was toasted for a week. I had like zero upper body strength. So, Chris, thank you once again for inspiring me and me like, okay, I need to get my fat butt in shape. So,
Well, we
um,
think it's important, right? Because the amount of volume he does, and doing endurance events like the 321 miles and doing 7 marathons in 7 days, right? The amount of endurance and the stress the body takes, we
yeah,
believe the strength is a critical component. And Chris has never been hurt or injured or burned out in 6 years, and that's really
that's wild.
testament to the core strength that he has,
Yeah.
because he takes the strength part of this training seriously. And that's why we think adding that fourth element to the Ultraman really brings awareness to how important the core strength is to sustained health and mobility and flexibility and all the things that keep you healthy.
Yeah. Chris, what tell me about the 321. I think this is in October. Like what how many days, what is actually happening, and like can people get involved?
Do you know the distances, buddy, for the 321?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. You see how to do it?
Maybe I just show up and I do it for fun.
He's just going to show up and do it for fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Here's
tell him.
321 miles. Let's do it for fun. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's 321. Basically just like show up. Bring like all my recruiters to help and join me, and crazy fun out there, and just nearly done, knock it out of the way, and do this tonight.
I'll tell you. Let me tell him what it is in case people want to join us.
They already know.
Well, some do, but some don't. I think most people don't know what a 321 is.
99%
So first of all,
of the people already.
So first of all, 321 stands for Down syndrome, right? Trisomy 21, the third copy of the 21st chromosome. So, and October is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. So this is all really to raise awareness for Down syndrome and other athletes with intellectual disabilities. And so the 321 is 10 kilometers of swimming. So it's a 6.2 mile swim. I believe it's about a 270-mile bike ride and 2 marathons, 50, what is that, 52.6 miles or whatever that number is,
Yeah.
2 marathons. And so that's the bike run swim portion. And then, of course, you add the 321 pull-ups, push-ups, dips, crunches, all that. And of course, we would love for people to join us. It'll be a private event. It'll be on site where the academy that we're building is going to be. So it'll be an awareness, raising awareness for the academy and for people to get to see what we're doing to create an academy for people with special needs. And it's going to be one of these really, a lot of media is going to be there. We invite the best athletes from all over the world, and it's going to be in a controlled environment so that people can do portions of it. And we'll slice it up into smaller portions. Like someone could do a sprint and do 1 pull-up, for instance. Someone can do a half Ironman level version and do 10 pull-ups. And so we're going to make it so that everyone can do something, but be part of the adventure in the day and make it exciting. And really, ultimately, it's to raise awareness for Down syndrome, for intellectual impairment, and for the academy to help us to show the world, one, what our kids can do, but also two, what opportunities are becoming available for them to prepare them for a life of inclusion.
Investors and Operators is the podcast of 51 Labs, a full-service digital marketing agency that focuses on private equity firms, the portfolio companies, and others in the M&A market. We handle everything from branding to video to websites, LinkedIn content, and everywhere in between. We've done over 150 projects since 2019, and usually we do a lot of work with emerging managers, so funds 1 through 3, independent sponsors, but also funded private equity firms. Reach out, happy to help out. So, Chris, let's talk about how, you've done a lot of races. I know there have been times maybe when you maybe thought about quitting, or it was too much. How do you think about that idea of quitting or giving in? Like, what does that mean to you?
I never quit. I'm not using serious excuses. It says be me, going out there, have fun, experience the adventure. The only number I can choose right now is number 3, success. That'd be way bigger than my pain, and especially me. I have a big, huge dream. So basically, I work hard every day to achieve them.
So no quitting for you, huh?
Yeah.
What do you think about signing up for these races? Do you get like scared? Like, why am I doing an Ironman? Why am I doing 321 miles?
That was my idea right here.
Jordan, it's you're asking an interesting question that a typical person would ask. Right? And a typical person would think about. Chris doesn't think like that. For Chris, this is fun. He just shows up, he gets it done, and he moves on to the next thing. So whatever's on the calendar, he just wants to know what's on the calendar, and he shows up and gets it done. If it's an Ironman, it's an Ironman. If it's a 100-mile bike ride, right? If it's an Ultraman, it doesn't matter. He just shows up, he gets it done, he doesn't quit, and he moves on to the next thing. It's really a habit that is the result of the 1% better philosophy that we have, where we have helped him build this mental habit of just doing a little bit more each day. And so whatever's next is no big deal because it's only a little bit more than what he did before. It's not a big either physical or mental stress on him because it's not that new. Like for the Ultraman, he trains for it every weekend. He does a long swim every Friday and a long bike every Saturday and a long run every Sunday. and then he does his strength training. So he kind of does a version of the Ultraman every weekend. And
You're
so
literally a professional athlete.
he really, yeah, he just shows up and he does it. So some of these questions, just doesn't resonate with him.
I love it. And um, when you look over the past 5 years, how do you feel that, like, what do you think your purpose is now?
So do you want me to talk or you want to talk?
I do.
You'll do it? Okay.
Yeah. Basically, my purpose, basically to help others, like me to achieve different potential. Uh, One way I can do that, is to keep being a role model, for as possible. And, this year I'm training for, two big events. The first one, it'll be, 312 mile triathlon.
All right, so stop for a second. So you're
That
doing that.
includes 3-2-1 pull-ups.
Hey, stop.
Cliff finish.
No, stop. So you're doing that just to prove what's possible?
Yeah,
Is that the only reason?
yeah.
What else?
And then
Are you having any fun with it or no?
yeah,
And then of course the 777.
yeah,
So those are all just to, right? That's your purpose. Is just to
Yeah.
be. And honestly, that's what I teach them all the time, Jordan, is look, God gave you a gift. He gave you something special. And your responsibility for the rest of your life is to be a role model and to just keep showing others like you what's possible and really keep opening the doors and creating opportunities for the neurodiverse population and really give them that opportunity to achieve their full potential. So that's something he and I talk about every single day.
Chris, what did it feel like in November at Ironman Florida when you saw the other athletes who were following you and what you did 5 years before? What did that feel like?
Yeah, what was that like, having all 10 of your friends do it? Do you remember?
I think it's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. And where were you when they were coming across the finish line?
I said the finish
You
line
were at the finish line doing what?
before they showed up,
And what were you doing?
having beer.
Having a beer and giving them hugs. So Jordan, to your question, it really was pretty cool for me as a father. And 5 years ago, all the attention was on Chris.
Yeah,
This year, all the attention was on his friends. And that's really the way it should be, right? It should be about this passing on the opportunity to everybody else and really opening the doors and then just giving people the chance to run through those doors and get their own time in the spotlight. So to us, it was fun, because we partied all week together. As you can tell, Chris likes to party. So anybody wants to invite him to a party, he's all for that. And he loves to be with his friends. And so to us, this is a lifestyle now, and it's a journey of purpose to make a difference in other people's lives.
It's speaking of making a difference, I was trying to do like rough math of like how many people do you think that you have impacted? And if you look at just what, you and you impacted me, and then I got my wife into it, my kids into it, my friends into it, and that's just one person that you impacted. I mean, you've probably impacted 10,000 plus people either directly or the people that they impact.
That's a great question. We don't know, but we hear a lot of comments like yours. But again, we haven't been able to quantify that in any real sense. But you're right; it's pretty significant because we're starting to see it. The ones that we are counting directly are the ones with special needs, right? 5 years ago, there was 0, then there was 1, and now there's 16, and soon there'll be hundreds, and then thousands, right? Just like we're taking 11 athletes who qualified for the Boston Marathon this year, because as a result of Chris, Boston Marathon created an ID category 2 years ago. Right, Chris was the first one to run it 3 years ago, and now we have 11 athletes, but there are so many that they have exploded in the Boston Marathon in terms of number of athletes with intellectual impairment running, that the location for the start line where they had planned on doing it wasn't big enough, so they needed to move to another location because they have so many participants. So
Oh, wow.
directly and indirectly, the numbers are starting to explode, and that's really our hope and our mission, is that this turns into not just tens and hundreds, but into thousands and tens of thousands, and eventually into millions, because this population, the neurodiverse population, is 15 to 20% of the population. It's enormous. It's 50 to 60 million people in the US. And
And I
so
think
it's
that,
an enormous population that's sitting home dormant.
and I think that even specific to Down syndrome, around 6,000 people per year are born with it, and around 250 to 400,000 people in the U.S. Like, just think about the more that we get this message out, how many more athletes can have their lives changed, just like Chris, like you have, and the other people who are athletes that you're working with.
Well, even bigger question then is, so Down syndrome is a small part of this whole number, right? Because the neurodiverse number is much, much bigger. But Down syndrome is only, like you said, a small number. But our hope is that that number grows, because, as you or may not know, 95 to 97% are aborted, so they never even get a chance at life. And so we're hoping, through Chris's example and others, to really show the parents, when they're making that decision, that it's not as scary as everybody's telling them, that people like Chris bring incredible joy to our lives, and they bring a level of genuineness and love to this world that really is missing, and could change our lives, all of our lives, for the better. So we're interested in increasing the numbers in the participation, but we're really more interested in increasing the numbers of kids born who are given the opportunity to actually live this kind of life like Chris is living.
I love that. And as I was thinking about our last episode and seeing you at races and also getting ready for today, one of the things that I had thought about is, um, everyone in their life goes through difficult times, dark times, whether it's something with their family or a job or whatever it is. And I was thinking about your example and how today's pain could be tomorrow's gift. And the gift that you have given literally to 10,000 plus people whose lives have changed. But I'm curious about, like, Chris, for you, what are some maybe hard times or dark times? And then how did you get through that?
So let me start first.
I
Mike.
did,
All right, you go first.
yeah, I did, some, very difficult times at first. I just don't focus, on the hard times. Uh, I only focus, on the good. Uh, I only focus on what, I can control. Uh, you have a 1, 2, 3 here. It's gonna be, my dream. Choose every year as a big goal. And 3, I just can represent it every day. And the rest just take care of itself.
And that's really a philosophy that we talk about every day, Jordan. Is part of what I teach Chris is, never focus on the negative or the bad. Always focus on the good, the good things we have in life, because we can get so hung up on focusing on the negative things, on the dark times. And look, we, like everybody else, have been through some very, very difficult things. Things that are sometimes hard to talk about, things that are private, right? But we don't let those things get in the way of the thing we can control, right? Which is our activity, our attitude, and our pursuit of our dreams and goals. And that's what I teach Chris: is focus on the moment. Don't let the hard times get in your way, and just be the person God meant you to be by doing the things that you can control. And so we don't really spend much time at all, in fact, talking about or thinking about or focusing on the dark or difficult times, because they don't do us any good. We live through them and we move forward through them, and we focus on that which we can control.
I love it. You know, it's, I was looking at my journal for the past 10 years and starting two businesses. And I noticed that a lot of it was, you know, just going through difficult times as opposed to appreciating, like, just changing perspective. And the challenges that we have today as a business, I would have begged for 10 years ago and 5 years ago. And so, to your point, like, just focus on the good things.
Yeah.
And
We have a lot of good things in our lives.
Chris, what's on your dream board? What is a dream board? What is on your dream board?
What's on your dream board, buddy? Tell them.
So, my dream board is basically like, it's my whole year. I'm around my bedroom. Every day, I read my dream and, my goal, to, remind myself that was important. Uh, every day, I write down what I did, to get a percent better, to hit my goal and, get my dream. And, every year, on New Year's Eve, I would basically get a new dream board, and every year I fill it up, and it keeps me focused, and it helps me stay consistent.
You know, it's a principle I learned from a book a long time ago, Jordan, where you keep your dreams and your goals and your actions in front of you every day, and you say them out loud, you see them every day, and you burn them into your subconscious brain so it becomes automatic. So achieving your dreams and goals is just something you do every day. And so that's what his dream board is. It takes up half his room, and he interacts with it every single day. He writes down everything he did to get a little closer to his dreams and his goals.
I love it. And that is going to be our family activity tonight over pizza is going to be the family dream board for the rest of the year.
So Jesse Etzler, right? You know Jesse. So he sells those big ass calendars.
Yeah.
Right? I think he got that idea from us when we did a podcast with him 5 years ago, and he turned it into a huge, wonderful business, which is amazing. But that concept of a big calendar that's visible and everything on one place on a wall really is a powerful success principle. I wish more people would do that, because it just makes it front and center, and you never lose focus on what's important.
What were your dreams 5 years ago, and what are they now?
Do you remember what you wrote down 5 years ago on your dream board?
Probably.
Tell them. You had 6 of them. Let's see if you can
Yeah.
remember them. That was a long time ago. What was number 1?
Buy a car.
Buy a car, check.
Yeah.
What else?
My own place.
Buy a house, check.
Yeah.
What else?
Smoking hot blonde.
Get a smoking hot blonde. You got one?
Yeah.
Check. Keep going.
Definitely, speaking.
Be a public speaker, check.
Yeah.
What else?
Um,
Own your own business,
yeah.
check. Make your own money to take care of your family, check.
Yeah.
Those were 6. Check, 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 check.
I think that that's a success.
Check, 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 check.
So what is it now? And what do you like, what's the next, what do you think will happen 5 years from now?
That's a good question. We haven't thought about that. What do you think is going to happen in 5 years?
I'll still be the first one.
You'll still be the first one, and that'll be forever. Okay.
Yeah.
How about we tell them what we're going to do with the academy?
Really?
Yeah, because that's the big thing we're doing this year.
Okay.
All right.
What is that? So Yeah, what is the 1% foundation, and what kind of things are you guys working on?
Let me tell them a little bit about it. Okay, so our goal is to build this academy because people like Chris, when they finish high school, they have nowhere to go. There are some college programs that are kind of piecemeal that don't achieve anything essentially. And they only have a handful of students and they don't really accomplish much. The objective of the academy is to think of it like the cross between the Naval Academy, the IMG Sports Academy, and a vocational school. The intention is to prepare people with intellectual disabilities to be physically and mentally fit, to be strong and healthy, to be disciplined, to be able to follow directions, to be able to take care of themselves in everything that they need, and to have a foundation to then prepare them in year two for job skills. So a whole year of very intense job specific, business specific skills in order to prepare them for independence post graduation so they can own their own micro business or work full time for someone and live fairly independently with a little bit of oversight to give them the opportunity to be fully integrated into the community and really take care of themselves both personally, but also through financially through full-time employment. That's really the essence of the academy. And our goal over the next 5 years is to serve at least 1 million students and be able to, create something that is scalable and can be replicated all over the country and around the world and reach as many people as we possibly can. So that's really our next journey.
I love it. And um, where's the academy going to be?
The first one's going to be in Claremont, Florida. Which is a wonderful place for it's close to Orlando, but it's growing but it's got space to grow and expand, and it's just a great place to be. It's not too far from Disney and Universal and all the other theme parks, and it's just a great location for people who come from all over the world with their kids to be able to come and tour it and see what it's like. Currently, we're looking at we're in contract negotiations with one property for about 5 acres. We're looking at another property for about 50 acres. We're just waiting for approvals, county commissioner approvals that we can build an academy on it. And if we can go, we've got some money to get started. And then of course, to do it big and do it right, we're going to need some help, but that's going to come down the road.
Okay. Um, for Chicago Marathon that we'll be supporting the foundation with, can you kind of talk about kind of where the donation dollars go?
Sure. So the donation dollars go to supporting athletes. So our strategy is twofold. One is to create more role models because we're trying to change belief systems. So the idea that we have 16 Special Olympics Ironman, that's part of the strategy. It's to create more role models because now hundreds more are doing it. So we're supporting athletes who raise their hand and say, I want to do a marathon, I want to do an Ironman, and I want to be a role model in my city. And so we have people from Rochester, Minnesota, from Wisconsin, from the Netherlands, right? People come from everywhere who've raised their hand who say, I want to be next and I want to be a role model. So part of the funds support the training, the equipment, and the event participation for those athletes who want to come to our training and who want to participate in a major event like that. Part of the funds are going to go to the academy for scholarships and for people who can't afford it. All right, so we're going to have a two-tier kind of system. One is for people who can afford it; they'll pay for it. But the vast majority of people in this situation really don't have the means to participate in stuff like this. So we want to raise a lot of money to be able to support people who can't afford it.
Awesome. And I mean, I could go. I want to go back to Florida Ironman experience last year. How was that for you? I know it was a tough race, but let's start off with the swim.
Uh, the swim was pretty good. At first, the waves were coming at me, and I didn't know that was going to happen, but I kept crying out, and then of course the bike and the run was very intense because around by 10 for the marathon. There's a wall where you hit that wall and then you have that setback. Uh, I had that setback during the marathon.
What happened?
Uh,
Can you say that
and,
again? What happened at mile 10?
Well, he hit a wall. And
there was a wall.
Chris, you were blowing stuff the whole time. You couldn't breathe. You woke up sick, and then by the time you got to the marathon, you were done. And you hit the wall, and we said, "That's enough. Like you're too sick to finish." And so we said, "Look, this isn't about you anyway. This is about all your friends. So let's go help your friends at the finish line and welcome them all in." So it turned out to be a great thing.
And then you had, how many people were there? You had 10 others that,
10
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
and that was their first time ever doing that?
A
Yeah.
couple, no, there were 10 first timers total. Yes.
That is incredible.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, it is there anything that we haven't talked about? Like, what's your next book gonna be?
Yeah. So let me touch on two things. I'll touch
He's
on
on
the
my
next one.
cover. That's
Let me-
your first problem.
Come here.
And second, he's writing his own book now.
I am. So two things I'm going to touch on. One I didn't touch on, which is the biggest challenge we deal with, and that is belief systems. Because people don't believe our kids are capable of something like an Ironman, they also don't believe they're capable of working. They're not capable of taking care of themselves, which is all just a misbelief, right? It's just a false belief system. So our biggest challenge is changing the belief system. And the place where we have the greatest challenge is with the parents, because the parents have spent their lives coddling their kids and really caring for them, that they have bought into that low belief system. And unfortunately, when the parents don't believe, the kids have no chance. They're done, right? That's just, so we're trying to find a way to change the belief system for the parents. And then we think when we get the parents on the same side, we can change the community, the school systems, and everything else. But without changing the belief system for the parents first, we have no chance. Okay.
That is such an important point, because I can appreciate where the mindset comes from with the parents of protecting, protect, but then, like, you guys have shown what happens when you just have aggressive dreams, aggressive goals without limitations.
Yep. It changes everything, right? But the parents can't see it. It's such a difficult thing for them to see because they've been blinded by a traditional belief system that tells them what their child can't do. So part of our hope in doing these podcasts and going to do speeches everywhere, and doing events everywhere and creating role models is just to kind of put a crack in that belief system. And then number two, once you believe, right? Think about it. Like we all who have businesses and have done things, we know that behavior follows belief. If you don't believe something, you're not going to do anything. If you believe you're capable of achieving something, you're going to take the appropriate behavior and you're going to at least move in the right direction. So we believe that if we can start to change the belief system, then we can start to change the behavior. But you need to give people a plan, because without a clear, easy to follow plan, beliefs tend to die on the vine. So the second book is going to be a clear, simple system that we're going to explain how we help Chris and all these other athletes to achieve what was previously thought to be impossible. Something that anybody can follow step by step, that says, look, this is not that hard. It's not going to be a very long book because it's not that complicated and it's not that hard. And it really is pretty simple to follow. But it's going to explain the neuroscience behind it. It's going to explain the pattern, the system, the habit formation, the kind of language to use, because language is a big deal with our kids. In the way they interpret what's said, they're very literal. And so there's just a handful of things that just need to be considered. But we're going to put together a book that's going to be a blueprint for how to help anyone with an intellectual disability achieve their full potential. And we're hoping by putting it in the hands of parents, we can change their beliefs but we can also change their behaviors and put them on the right path.
This is incredible, and I think that this belief system and exercise is applicable to anybody because, as I think about our situation with 4 kids, a business, our the nonprofits that we support for veterans and athletes with disabilities. I've even noticed my own limiting beliefs, and it's especially like we have twins that are 9 months old, and then you're just tired. You don't know what day it is. You don't know what time it is. And then negativity can start to creep in because you're tired. But then you have to like identify those beliefs and then understand it and then just turn it around. And then to your point, create the plan. And so your message can resonate with everybody, individuals, families, businesses. With businesses, as we were talking about thinking with like our client base of private equity firms, they own 5, 10, 15 companies. And a great exercise that they can do with their companies is to identify what are our limiting beliefs. What should these beliefs be? What is the plan to do this? So it can be your message is applicable to people with intellectual disabilities, individuals, companies. It's applicable to anybody.
Yeah, well, as you may or may not know, I've owned a consulting firm for about 20 years. I do sales transformation consulting. I've done sales transformations for over 1,000 companies in the last 20 years. And these principles come from best-selling books and principles that have been tried and true forever, right? But they've never been applied appropriately to the intellectual disability community because they're too complicated and too difficult for them to understand. What I've done in this model is I've taken it and modified it and simplified it to the neurodiverse community. So
Mm,
you're right. All of that is available and there's that exists everywhere in the business world and in the neurotypical community. It just doesn't exist in the neurodiverse community. So what we're doing is taking what is tried and true in our community and modifying it and tailoring it to the neurodiverse community. And that's really the theme of the next book that we're writing is to be able to show parents like me and my wife, if they really want to believe their child has the ability, then this is going to give them the way and the means and the plan that they can follow in order to help their child achieve their full potential. So, I
I
use the
love it.
same plan for our daughter who's 10 years older. And I trained her and 9 of her friends from the age of 10 using the system to play basketball. And by the time they were 18, all of them got Division I scholarships. So the principles work everywhere, right? But our typical kids already have everything or a lot of what they need in place already to succeed. Our neurodiverse kids just don't have it. And that's really who we're
Yeah,
appealing to, those parents and that part of the community. And it's a very large community.
I love it. So, Chris, Ironman, your next one is Boston Marathon
Yeah,
and then Ironman Jacksonville.
yeah,
And
And then Western Massachusetts.
oh yes. So, Chris, can I
yeah,
get a shirt? Can I get a shirt for Jacksonville?
You want a
yeah.
kit? You want to
If you
want?
got kit, I'll wear the kit.
Yeah, we'll get you a
If you
kit.
got 1% kit, of course I'll wear it on for Jacksonville. If there's a size medium,
Yes.
maybe large, depends how much we shall see. Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be awesome. Um, so, uh, Chris, if you look at 5 years of doing this, 6 years of doing this so far, like what is your favorite race that you have done?
That's
New
a good
York.
question. New York?
Yeah,
New York City Marathon.
yeah,
That was your favorite of the 6 global majors.
yeah. Uh, down to Tokyo.
And you like Tokyo too?
Yeah,
Okay. So New York and Tokyo?
yeah.
Okay.
All right,
And
and my
Boston.
What? Okay, he said favorite, not all of
know.
Your favorite one is everyone.
them.
Yeah, include the women.
Stop it with the
Which one?
women.
There we go. So maybe my last question, which is maybe the most important, Chris, if you could only have your last beer ever, no others ever in your life, what kind of beer would it be?
Ultra.
Ultra, Michelob Ultra.
Yeah.
All right,
There we go. All right, guys.
And,
Well,
after midnight, I have a whiskey.
whiskey after midnight.
whiskey after Chris, we're gonna have some fun partying in
A
Jacksonville.
tall glass of whiskey.
Tall glass of whiskey.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a
Top.
lot of fun in Jacksonville.
We're gonna.
And,
Guys, it is so good to see you, and truly, you guys have changed my life. You've changed my family's life because of the example that you set, and I know that there are thousands and thousands of people who have are living a better life because of you.
Well,
So,
thank you.
thank
Much.
you.
Appreciate it.
This is awesome. And if people want to find out more about you, Chris, tell me the website, tell me the social media.
ChrisNikic.com.
There we go. All right, guys. It's great to see you. Thanks so much for doing this.
You have a great day.